are watching Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Stone Shields. Thank you so much for joining us here for our Bengals versus Browns preview video. The Bengals getting ready to head up north and take on the Cleveland Browns. Boy, as playing in Cleveland really been a struggle for Zach Taylor during his time as the Bengals head coach. So hopefully that gets turned around here on Sunday. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the top matchups to watch in this game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns, as the Bengals are looking for their first meaningful AFC North win in 2 seasons. It's pretty hard to believe, but the last game of the year last season against the Cleveland Browns at home ultimately didn't really mean anything. So they haven't won an AFC North game that meant something in a long time. Hopefully that changes on Sunday. Top matchup to watch here right off the bat is going to be what Cincinnati is going to do with Myles Garrett. And look, Myles Garrett moves all around. They're going to put him in situations where he has, the most favorable matchup. So I think Amarius Mims, the rookie out of Georgia, first-round pick, is going to have some, snaps where he is going up against Myles Garrett, which, of course, is going to be very, very challenging for him. But as I mentioned, they're going to move Garrett around. I fully expect all 5 starters on the offensive line to have to deal with Myles Garrett at some point. And look, this guy, although he's a totally different player than Dexter Lawrence a week ago, he's still one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. You could argue he is the best defensive player in the National Football League. And really, Bengals haven't really ever had a good answer for him. He's going to get his, but it's about how do you slow him down. And Amarius Mims is going to be somebody that the Bengals turn to try to, help with that. So it's going to be a really big game for Mims. I thought just watching the game live against the Giants that he kind of struggled in that game, but taking a look at some of the PFF numbers, he really didn't struggle too much in that game. I think Joe Burrow was holding on to the football a little bit too long, so he's got to make sure that he is not doing that going against this Browns front. I think Burrow, during his press conference this week, kind of spoke at length to that, and he's certainly going to try to be a little bit better in that regard because he cannot afford to take that punishment on a week-out basis, similar to what he took against the New York Giants. Myles Garrett is priority number 1 for the Cincinnati Bengals football team. He is a problem. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. What is your concern level going up against Myles Garrett? Be honest with us in the comments section. Scale it 1 to 10. That ad comes here on YouTube. That's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. All right, next matchup to watch here is JaMarr Chase going up against Denzel Ward. Now, as of filming, Denzel Ward, he's been a little bit banged up. I think right now, again, as of filming, he's officially listed as questionable for this game, but I do expect him to be out there with this football team. Look, Denzel Ward out of Ohio State is an incredible football player. He's given the Bengals fits in the past. He has picked off Joe Burrow in the past, and JaMarr Chase is really looking to take that next step against Cleveland. He hasn't really, other than one game back in 2022, had a ton of success against this Cleveland Browns team. And, of course, he's talked a lot, calling them the elves or whatnot. I absolutely love that comment because that's, pretty embarrassing to have an elf sitting there at the middle of your field at the 50-yard line. But he's got to go out there and back it up. And Denzel Ward has done some good things against JaMarr Chase. So I think that's probably what the matchup is going to look like. We'll see if they put Emerson on him at all, or perhaps, Greg Newsome, who's a fantastic player. He's more their nickel, but he might get some different matchups. But really, it's Browns defense. They're really good on all 3 levels. And Denzel Ward has been a real big fixture in that defense for several years now, 10 PBUs. The guy just has a nose for the football. He's all over the place. Burrow's got to make sure that he doesn't get tricked and baited, something Denzel Ward likes to do a lot as well. But JaMarr Chase, he's the bigger guy, the stronger guy, hopefully the more physical guy on Sunday as well. That's going to be a massive matchup. Got to find a way to get JaMarr Chase going in this football game. Really a key every single week. But against these Browns, certainly a key in this one as well. We'll keep going with our matchups here in a moment. But first, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Game Time, as today's show is presented by Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Bengals coming back home here after this Browns game to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And tickets for that game are on sale right now with Game Time. So head on over to Game Time and get the best deals possible. My two favorite features, the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Also, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front, so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, another matchup to watch here. As of filming, it looks like Nick Chubb is going to be out there playing. So that's kind of a bad break that Cincinnati is catching here. Chubb, of course, hasn't played since week 2 of the 2023 season where he really suffered a gruesome injury. And it looks like he's going to make his return against, of course, a divisional rival in the Cincinnati Bengals. Chubb at full health. Really, McCaffrey and Chubb, in my opinion, are the two best running backs in the National Football League. You could argue Derrick Henry certainly up there as well. But Nick Chubb is a force to be reckoned with. He's going to be hungry, and he's really trying to pay things back to his teammates. They've really had his back throughout this injury. He is their best player on their football team besides Myles Garrett, probably. You could maybe argue Chubb is better than him as well, but his value is absolutely insane. And the Browns are really going to try to control this game by feeding him. Again, not for sure that he is going to be playing just yet as of filming, but I do expect him to be out there for this Cleveland Browns football team. Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, your linebackers, got to be ready to go out there and tackle. He's going to get through that first line of defense, your defensive line. You're going to be in one-on-one situations with Nick Chubb, a fresh Nick Chubb, and Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt are going to step up and make some big tackles there, kind of at that second level of the Bengals defense. They better come ready to play, and they better come ready to be physical as well. Going to be a major matchup dictating who's going to be successful in this game. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Over or under 99.5 yards. That's what I'm setting it at. I haven't looked at the Vegas line or whatever, but essentially, is Nick Chubb going to rush for 100 yards in this football game? Type O for over or U for under. Let us know in the comment section. I'm definitely worried about this. Nick Chubb is absolutely unbelievable, and he is fresh. We'll see if he looks like that same guy that he was before he got hurt. But again, sound off for us in the comments of today's video. All right, another matchup to watch. Unless you live under a rock, you understand that Amari Cooper got traded and will not be playing for the Cleveland Browns as he's now a member of the Buffalo Bills. So that makes the Bengals' life a little bit easier, not having to deal with Amari Cooper because, man, Amari Cooper is a really good receiver. But I think Jeudy now is that number one for this Cleveland Browns football team. And look, Jeudy's career to this point hasn't really panned out the way people expected for such a high draft pick. Had a great career at Alabama. Look, I'm a big fan of Jeudy, and I think if he gets some competent quarterback play, which is something he's never really had, he could be a really solid receiver still in this league. So he's an absolutely gorgeous route runner, and Cam Taylor-Britt is going to be tested in this game. I would imagine CTB is going to be who is matched up with Jeudy in this game. Like I said, the route running of Jeudy really is the best part of his game, in my opinion. So we'll see, now that he is that wide receiver one for this Cleveland Browns team, just how dangerous he can be out there on the football field. I thought CTB took a step in the right direction with his performance against the New York Giants, and he needs another good game as well because his play, if you would summarize it overall this year, definitely has been shaky at best. Want to see CTB take another step in the right direction this week. Lastly, the quarterbacks, Joey Burrow and Deshaun Watson. Now, this should be pretty one-sided, right? Because Joe Burrow is playing like the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. And Deshaun Watson is playing like the worst quarterback in the National Football League, bringing back some of these stats we showed you guys a little bit earlier in the week. I mean, these numbers are just absolutely dreadful. Yards per game, last in the league. Yards per play, last in the league. Third down conversion percentage, last in the NFL. And the quarterback certainly is to blame for that. Kevin Stefanski's had success calling plays throughout his career. Now he gets a guy like Deshaun Watson that, he's forced to, put out there on a game-in, game-out basis, and it just has not worked at all for Cleveland. So that needs to continue here in this football game for Cincinnati. But look, the only reason I'm even bringing up this matchup, right, is because it seemed like when Baker Mayfield played the Cincinnati Bengals, he always played unbelievable. And then no matter, the couple of times that Joe Burrow got to face off against him, even if Joe Burrow played great, it was like, well, Baker's playing out of his mind. So we kind of want to avoid a situation like that with Deshaun Watson in this game. No way this can, Bengals don't want to allow this to be his coming out party, right, where he finally has a good game. That's something that the Bengals obviously are trying to prevent. And look, this shouldn't look close at all. It shouldn't even be on the same playing field in terms of the performance that these two guys put out there. I'm expecting Joe Burrow to come out there with a chip on his shoulder and really be locked in. Joe Burrow's fired up. He hasn't won in Cleveland. That's something that really bothers him, and he's going to be locked in, ready to go. And like I said, Deshaun Watson has been absolutely atrocious so far in 2024. There's really no signs of it even turning around. They keep just kind of throwing him out there, and he keeps giving them the same results. So the Bengals defense got to be locked in, make sure he doesn't do anything special, put some pressure on him, kind of get him off balance, and also spy him as well, I think, from time to time, even though he doesn't really run as much as he used to. I think that could be a situation in a game like this where we might see him try to take off with his legs, and the Bengals need to be ready for it. All right, just a reminder, we will be live at noon on Sunday for the Bengals and Browns massive AFC North matchup. You win this game in Cleveland, I think you can really start to bring back some hope in terms of trying to make a postseason push and, really staying competitive in this AFC North division. So an absolutely massive game here going up to Cleveland against a team that you should, on paper, take care of. So don't miss out on that. We will be live at noon. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV.